happen to me. I can touch a book and for 30 seconds know and do everything in the book. I mean, grab any book in this house.
All right. Jet, I know you ain't read this one yet. Touch it. Okay, page 20.
People page. Names, Carl W. Taylor, Eric Sawyer.
Page 33.
Society World. It's a photo of a couple that just got married.
Centerfold. What does she do?
She's an actress, a model, a dancer, and a dental technician. She enjoys cooking and hip-hop. She's wearing a black bikini, and she's fine.
Yes! You really got superpowers.
Well, man, right there, man. That was a clip from a movie that came out way back in 1993. And the reason why I wanted to play it, because to my recollection, at that point in my life, that was the first time I saw a black man as a superhero. Mm-hmm. And that made me believe then that I, too, could be the Meteor Man, ladies and gentlemen. This film was inspirational and motivational, and rightfully so, because it was created by a man who has a slew of accomplishments in his career.
Yeah, that was him playing Jefferson Reed and Meteor Man with Eddie Griffin in the scene, who also starred James Earl Jones, Big Daddy Kane, Bill Cosby was in the movie. I mean, the guys work with everybody.
Wow. Robert Goulion.
Exactly.
Benson
played Benson. Marla Gibbs.
Marla Gibbs.
Yeah, and a lot of self-help in it. A lot of involuntary servitude in this movie.
And it'll start Benson.
and Florence.
But he's done a few other things, too.
Anybody who has seen Eddie Murphy Raw and appreciates that film should know that it was directed by the guy who is with us right now. And the movie that he's coming to talk about is a documentary about the making of one of his most iconic roles, the film The Five Heartbeats, which he not only wrote, directed, and produced, but he also sacrificed his own income to make sure that the movie was made according to how he envisioned it. Wow. And I think he deserves a lot of recognition for that. So please welcome Robert Townsend.
Robert Townsend
Thank
is here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sway. Thank you so much, everybody here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, man. When your work, and it's the interesting thing about Eddie Murphy is that you both actually tried out for SNL, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, or?
Well, I was a stand-up comedian at the Improv. It was me, Keenan Ivory Wayans, and I do a lot of characters, and so I just auditioned. I didn't know if I was close or not, and then years later, a book came out, and they said it was between you and Eddie Murphy, and I was like, oh, really? Wow. So I didn't know. I just back then I was doing like a lot of characters in stand-up.
You said you was back then Keenan Ivory Wayans and who else was around at that time? Was like Antoine Fuqua around at that time?
No. When we were at the Improv, it was it was a comedy club. So it was me, Keenan, Jay Leno was the host. You had Robin Williams coming in, Rodney Dangerfield, Robert Klein, Billy Crystal. Everybody. That's where we were all like young comedians.
Wow. And everybody's chewing off the same bit, fighting for the same goal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
As those people like Jay Leno and all these different folks start progressing up that Hollywood tree, did they reach back out to you guys, or was it not that kind of camaraderie?
No, it was really cool because, the first time I did a Tonight Show was with Johnny Carson, but Jay Leno was, he was in the wings, and he would look out for Keenan, and then Arsenio, because we all moved to L.A. after that, but in New York City, we were all like, it was just me and Keenan, the only brothers at the club at the time.
What gave you the gall, Robert Townsend, to think that you can make it in Hollywood, this black director, writer, comedian, actor? Especially back then in the 80s and the 90s, it was just really hard to tear down those obstacles, those doors, race being involved. And what gave you the gall?
Let me say this. As a black man, when I was starting out, I was a young kid in Chicago, and I had all these dreams of acting, writing, doing my thing. Then I found myself stuck in a box, like the Hollywood box, where, you're going to play a pimp, a hustler, street dude, whatever. And, I was dying, and then the filmmaker was born, because at my first audition for a slave, I'd call my mother, Mama, they're going to tie me to a tree and whip me, Mama. Then I run away, then I come back, they're going to whip me again, Mama. Baby, that's a good role. I hope they whip your ass. Baby, it's so good, And then I remember auditioning for, my first pimp. My mother's all proud. Baby, be the best pimp you can be. The whole church was praying for me. Let's pray that Brother Robert gets a roll of silky good dick. Silky good dick. The film is called Hoes on the Stroll. It sounds like a musical. So there was a part of me that was dying as an artist.
Yeah.
And I told Keenan, because we had really bad auditions, and I said, Keenan, we need to make our own movies. I said, we can't wait on Hollywood to tell our stories. And that's when I started to create Hollywood Shuffle. And I shot it in 12 days. And when I ran out of money, I used a credit card. The film was done for $100,000, and then eventually it made close to $10 million. And that's how I was launched,
Robert
in
Townsend.
the game.
Did you still, even because that star started to rise, did you still find a lot of obstacles in your way?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, you got to figure, like, when I was thinking about Meteor Man, that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you got a black man talking about being a superhero, and you only had Spider-Man and Batman and all the Marvel people, and I said, I'll create my own superhero from scratch, and I'll write it, direct it, produce it, star in it, and. Like now when I was going after $1 billion back then. That's where my brain was at.
Okay.
And so then when I see Black Panther now, it made $1 billion, and so I just kind of look at it and just go, I wasn't crazy, because people go like, you go from the 5 Heartbeats to Meteor Man. What is Robert Townsend thinking? Well, we had no movies for black kids. We had none. We had The Whiz, and we had The Whiz. And we had The Whiz.
But we did we did have The Whiz.
But and so when I think about where my brain has always been, I'm always looking, and there's a method to my madness. It's the Trojan horse. Like the 5 Heartbeats, people, a lot of people say I really love that movie, but I was trying to give Hollywood a new image of black men, because at the time it was all these stereotypical things. So then when you look at the 5 guys, they all represent different things.
Yeah. It worked, man. Robert Townsend is here. You brought up Black Panther. What's the director's name?
Oh, Sway, don't start. Where's he from?
What's the director?
Ryan Coogler, maybe.
Where's he from? He's from
where?
He's from Oakland. That's where I'm from, Robert Townsend.
Okay.
All right, just in case somebody didn't know. Big round of applause. Hey, dude, I know thank you, Aoki. In hip hop, we recently saw, and this might be a slight stretch, but we saw a clip of Fat Joe, the artist, interviewing the new artist, Tekashi 6ix9ine, and just kind of giving him the lay of the land, warning him about what he can expect with his success, being a rapper, coming up in this game. You got to be careful. These federal agents are going to be all over you based on some of the things you say and do. And we saw that. Ultimately, unfortunately, the young man ended up getting put in jail. I'm not saying it's because he didn't listen to Fat Joe, but had he, perhaps he might not be in jail. Who's to say? I don't know the nuances around that. Do you get a chance to talk to a lot of the younger directors, especially the ones of color that are coming up now, and give a chance to say, hey, Ryan, man, congratulations on the success. Here may be 1 or 2 things you might want to watch out for that I learned in my experience. Is that available?
No, I try to do that all the time. Again, everybody's living their own life. So, when I saw Ryan, I'm like really proud of him. I mean, he's just a real brother doing the right thing, and he's got integrity. Yeah. Because he talks about he's got to keep it real for everybody in Oakland. So when he does his stuff, no, that's what he says. I'm trying to keep it real. I don't care about Hollywood. It's like, well, I got to go home. And he just talked like a real brother. I love him, but I try to kick as much knowledge as I can, to people that want to listen, because there are no classes for success in Hollywood, and especially being a man of color. So, it's like, Keenan and I, we boys, and so we will talk, but I think there's a whole group, in terms of like, the money is not pure, So like when you hear somebody's making $1 million, Uncle Sam, manager, agent, so there's knowledge that's got to be, learned. And then in terms of dealing with women, because all of a sudden it's like Eddie used to have a joke that he got fine, he got handsome when he got money. It's like now you're not So I think that there should be classes, because I think a lot of athletes and young entertainers get caught up.
Who you like right now? Some of the younger directors.
Like I said, Ryan. Ryan Coogler definitely, but Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele. I thought Get Out was the truth. I thought, I just think talented director, but like I said, Ryan Coogler right now has a really beautiful touch.
Robert Townsend is here, man. I want to open up the phone lines too, 888-742-3345.
Robert, I was joking with Sway that I remember when Five Heartbeats came out. It was sort of like a coming-of-age story for us getting into the industry, the music industry, at that time when the movie came out. And I was like, I feel like I owe him $7 because I didn't have a chance to see the movie in the theater. Something about, it just didn't connect initially when I saw the...
In the documentary, we talk about what went wrong because right now the Five Heartbeats bombed in the box office. We didn't make no money. Nobody came out to see it. But the trailer, like in the new documentary, you see what happened, like what really happened behind the scenes. And if you like the movie, wait until you see the documentary because I auditioned close to 10,000 people to be in the movie.
Really?
10,000 people. In Chicago, you'll see this guy online auditioning, and then later on I'll tell you his name, and then he's now this Grammy-winning prolific producer, but you'll see young R. Kelly online auditioning.
Really? For Five Heartbeats?
For the Five Heartbeats.
And you turned him down?
You see me talking to him, and I go like, this dude has something, but I had already cast Choir Boy, I'd already cast JT, and then I was like, where can I use him? So you see him online, you see just different, you see a young Don Cheadle, and so then I was like, should he be, and then, like in the documentary, you'll see footage of who I thought I wanted to play Eddie King, and then Michael, really took the role.
Yeah, he took the role. Yeah.
So how were you able, I didn't know that part, thank you for clearing that up, but you touched on so many different things. Sway and I were talking about the industry that's still relevant to this day in terms of how music and everything goes. Did you do your research? Did you talk to the Berry Gordies?
I talked to the Dells, I talked to the Temptations, I talked to David Ruffin, all the different groups, because I would ask them, I said, well, what did y'all do with y'all money? And they said, we didn't make no money. And they said we were 17, 18, and we just wanted the women, and then they would buy us all a Cadillac. And then I said, well, what about the record guys? I said, what about your publishing? They says they would always joke about the publishing, but we never got the publishing. So when they broke it down for me,
always joke about the publishing.
And so when he broke it down, I was like, oh my God. And then Keenan and I first it was gonna be really funny, and then was like, this is kind of sad. These guys didn't make any money, and they got taken advantage of. And then the Dells told me the story about this one singer who was really huge that got hung out the window.
For Big Red.
The Big Red thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, he got hung out the window. I said, how do y'all know? He says, the record company wanted everybody to know so that they know that's what we think of this guy who was a big star. Nobody asked for their money after that.
Wow, so that
was
based on a true story.
True story. It's a true story.
Because when the irony is, when that happened, when the movie came out, people were thinking it was taken from the folklore of Suge Knight. And Vanilla Ice, when there was a story back then was circulating that Suge Knight held Vanilla Ice over about. I don't know if it's true or not.
Well, see, people said that Suge Knight got it from the Five Heartbeats. And he said, because the movie had come out, and if you look at the timeline, it came out, and then he was like, oh, I want to be like Big Red. And, I don't know, but that's what, but that really happened to somebody the Dells told me about.
So the documentary right now is premiering today in New York at the, I don't know how to say this, the Mazeless?
Yeah, the Mazel.
Mazel Documentary Center.
Up in Harlem.
Yeah.
So it's gonna open on Friday to the public. It runs from December 7th through the 13th, just 1 week so we can be in contention for Oscar and award season.
Okay. Mike Muse, you want to ask a quick question?
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's an honor to talk to you.
Thank you.
Legend. Definitely part of my upbringing and my childhood. I think the Time Is documentary is fantastic, and I love how you said that you made the Five Heartbeats because there were no black men, strong characters on film. What we see that's kind of shifting to Broadway right now, where we see Dominic Maruso is bringing the Temptations to Broadway. We see Terrell McCraney is bringing Choir Boys to Broadway, but we really haven't seen that yet on network television. Do you think that we're in a position now to get strong black and ensemble cast of black men on network television, or are we still, what's your thoughts on that?
I think that I have a different kind of touch as an artist, so when I think in terms of the things that I want to do and continue to do, there could be a space for the Five Heartbeats, but I would really get into real stuff as black men, because sometimes it's glossed over and you can tell that the writing's not authentic. Keenan and I right now are working on a Broadway show for the Five Heartbeats.
Oh, dope.
So we're, we just
Snap, I'm
we're
going
doing
now.
our deal now. We got a top Broadway producer that's come aboard.
Dope.
We also have a Grammy-winning to write additional songs, and he wrote some songs. Oh man, I'll just tell you this one beat.
Okay.
There is a song when in the movie when Eddie goes gang and we go, hey, I ain't got no number, man, and he leaves. He wrote this song, and it will break your heart, where Eddie sings this song as we pull off in the limo, and he's just there by himself, and he's blowing. And it's like, kind of reminiscent of the Otis Redding song, I got dreams to remember. It's like, but it's like powerful. So anyway, that's what we're working on right now.
Michael Wright. Nights like this, I wish raindrop. Oh, yo, that gotta be the most iconic.
Yo, it was the Five Heartbeats, one of the greatest movies ever made, like hands down. It
Thank
touched
you.
on every single subject
you.
that we all needed at that time.
Thank
Real
you.
talk.
Thank you.
Lewis on the line from Knoxville. I know Robert got to go, but go ahead real quick. What you want to say?
Already?
Yeah, unfortunately.
First off, I want to say I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. Shout out to all y'all up there at Sway.
Know what I mean?
And Mr. Townsend, I just wanted to say Five Heartbeats is one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. I'm just wondering, how did you come up with the songs? Who wrote and produced most of the songs in the movie?
You know what? I listened to like hundreds and hundreds of songs, but George Duke, Stanley Clark, and Steve Terrell were the music supervisors, and they found the majority of the music. But Stanley Clark.
George
I mean,
Duke.
and people don't know this, but Howard Hewitt is like I don't know, probably nobody here even knew that he's like the little angel. Like when you hear "I got nothing but love," that's Howard.
That's Howard Hewitt.
Howard, just because I wanted to, like when Dresser and Eddie fight in the tunnel and he hugs him, that's Howard Hewitt adding a little angelic voice to it, and that was Stanley Clark's suggestion to use him as the score.
Howard Hewitt, man.
I want to see this documentary.
Second time around.
Wait,
Rob,
what
I'm
are you
auditioning.
doing?
I'm auditioning for Robert Townsend.
For Broadway?
Wait a minute. A new heartbeat. Wait a second now.
Nights like this.
No.
I wish.
Wait a minute.
No.
Eddie Kane.
Eddie Kane. He had a son.
Eddie Kane Jr.
Junior.
It's a 5 heart attacks.
Robert Townsend, man. I just want to personally thank you for all the continued inspiration.
Absolutely,
Man, I didn't really get a chance to do it justice because we only have so much time. Please come back and let us just talk about your life.
Yeah.
I would love to, man. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. Man, I can't say enough. Robert Townsend is here, man, making the Five Heartbeats. Premiering today in New York at the Maisels Documentary Center at 6 p.m. It's going to be a Q&A, too, if you can make it.
Oh, it's sold out today.
Oh, it's sold out?
It's sold out today.
Okay,
it's sold out
my bad.
today. So I just want to. So Friday it opens officially. So I just want everybody to come out Friday, and it's there from the 7th through the 13th.
Yeah, because we don't want the documentary to flop like the movie did. So make sure y'all go out December the 7th on Friday. That was a joke, Robert Townsend. You're the one who said it.
Sway just tanked. You just blew your audition, homie. Damn, Sway.
He said the movie flopped.
That was like 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago, Robert. Don't let Sway
I mean, it's a cold thing now, but when it came out in the theaters,
I owe him $7.
I went.
No, thank you.
Okay, all right.
I owe you $7, Robert. I owe you
Thank you,
$7.
man. Hey, man, we got Master P in here coming up next. You want to talk to Master P, 888-742-3345. That was a joke.
Thank you for having me.
It's my music.